on it. You were not eating. Was
Yeah.
a verb.
What are we eating?
You were eating the highest quality content that the internet has to offer.
So, once again, escape all time. Eat, escape all time. Basically means an artist, a creative, a person gets hyper focused into their quality of work, into the love of their craft, into their passion, and it basically means that you get so zoned in, you lose track of time. You escape all time in the essence. Hopefully, you do it so good and so often that it pays for you. So you, in turn, eat, escape all time. Well,
So yeah,
you know what I mean?
I'm with it.
So how you been, man?
I've been great, bro. I've been great. I'm just staying as busy as I possibly can. I'm focused on curating some new records. I'm focused on visuals and yeah, just expansion, ascension. Rather.
What was the
Just ascension.
what's the last visual you did?
The last visual that I released was it was called Blackout, and it was I think it was the project that we actually did together, and it was an incredible experience to go through and be able to do a budgeted production like
Yeah.
that. It was really awesome.
Like it by budgeted, we really took our budgets to yeah, like
There was a lot going on.
can I elaborate on it?
You can, bro.
Yeah,
Bro,
okay.
I feel like I'd be cheating you if I didn't let you do that.
So we contacted a friend of mine is one thing. She allowed us to use her garage, and then we created a scene in the garage, hung a bunch of light bulbs, and it was cool because a lot of the light bulbs we got were from 99-cent store. We went to the Dollar Tree
It was
store.
Dollar Tree. Yeah, that's right. It was a dollar.
Yeah,
Dang.
we went to the 99-cent
Bro,
store.
that's crazy.
But I bring this up because we made our budget work for us. You know, we wanted to do something. When you're starting off at a certain creative level, I think it's important that you become creative. That really, like, when you're limited on certain things, you have to force yourself to be creative. And we made our environment, and then the whole idea behind Blackout was just a moody feel. So we also traveled locally from Los Angeles to Brea to Fullerton. I live in Orange County, and we shot things in Riverside. And if you listen to the song, which I'll overlay, but those that are those that understand Southern California and know their locations, you'll be able to see certain areas from Fullerton, Brea.
There's a lot of location gems in there.
Yeah.
A lot of location gems. Immediately when people started seeing the video, I was starting to get hit up like, yo, is that so and so place, or yo, oh, I know those buildings, like that's really tight, So yeah, man, I feel like it was a very, very natural, cohesive process though, because I don't recall anything being forced.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just like, let's just get to work, let's just do it,
Yeah.
which is like my favorite creative process, is just doing what we have to do, like in the moment, we just execute it.
How many days did we do it? Do you remember?
I'll probably say putting the sets together was probably within a couple weeks to be able to coordinate schedules.
Mm-hmm.
But I would honestly say to shoot everything and get everything done, I'm talking like 2 days.
2 or 3.
Maybe 2 or 3 days, and it was probably about it was a couple days of editing, but it was this last 10-hour session where we're in this room right here and we banged out the final version of Blackout. Like
it was
at the
it was a
end.
process too, because we shot it multiple times, meaning the different areas. He had to contact his friends. We had to schedule a date for his friends, our friends, all the way in Los Angeles. You'll see a strobe light scene, and basically we were there 4 hours, I want to say, but we only used it in the video less than 30 seconds.
I would say it's got to be less. It has to be less than 30 seconds. Yeah, it was a very, very necessary 30 seconds, because I feel like there was no better way to finish off the video, than to bring everybody who was also kind of separately doing their creative thing into the vision and having them kind of represented there as a bookmark in time. But
a cameo.
A cameo.
Their cameo.
Yeah, but it was, and everybody in that video has their own significance and their own amazing ththings that they're gonna do in their life, and it's kind of like, I feel like us kind of acknowledging that and giving that ode to them, that you're gonna definitely get what you deserve,
What is Blackout? What is Blackout to you?
Blackout to me is, I would say it's primarily just what it feels like, the raw essence of knowing that you have to do what's necessary in order for you to actually get to where you want to go. It kind of eliminates all the fairy tale essences of it, and it's more of the youthful angst that comes with wanting to believe in yourself and knowing that you're willing to do anything to be able to take yourself there. And I think that's one thing that probably drives a lot of creatives today, is that it's like, man, I could dream that this would happen, but dreams are only dreams until you wake up and get off your pillow and make it happen and make it real, you know. So Blackout is just about making your dreams and visions actually fabricate in real life.
Right.
And I think that's why, as I continue to show people, even now, like with the first impression, the first listen, people immediately resonate, you know, because I think everyone feels like I should be here, and I'm here, and I need to bridge this gap.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think that's why it relates.
Can you give us a little taste of it?
Yeah. Too long have we let this slide. Too long have we let this live. Pitch black, I still survive. I write till I crack my wrist. Mosh pit till I crack my ribs. Sip tea in that mountain mist. Who knew I'd ignite like this? Earth bend when I clench my fist. I'm wondering why they hating and still underestimate him. I think that the weight of him to slip. And I'm still running on gravel, and I'm a part of the battle, and I want to make examples of this. And show you that I can do it and catalyze the whole movement. I think we can still maneuver with this. They can't even find light at the lighthouse, and they can't even find light when it's bright out.
Yo, you guys gotta check out that. I'm gonna leave a link on the site. I'm gonna leave a link on YouTube, so you make sure you go follow that. So what cool what's new for Greg now?
The new things are going to be on a completely elevated plane from not only concepts that I had in my initial EP, Adapt and Shift, but I want to be able to consistently create more things for people to be able to use to elevate their lifestyle. So what I've been focusing more on now is more so the element of storytelling. I'm coming from a writer's perspective first. I started with poetry and I started with lyricism in the beginning, and I'm still a student of the game, and I still study people who put intricate concepts and formats on their projects to create the most immersive experience they could possibly create. I'm trying to have this next release be as immersive as possible, but at the same time sprinkling in a little bit more of me, you know, so people can almost feel as though I'm walking this journey along right beside them, you know. But the essence of it is the whole mantra of what Gregnwmn is about, and I'm about human emotion, human contact, human struggles, human successes, you know, feeling like...
Is that because you think everybody does that, or... Like,
I think everybody wins and everybody loses.
Yeah.
You know, and losses are just learning experiences, you know. So if I'm not winning, I'm learning, you know. And I think that's something that we can all kind of connect to, and something I feel as though, if represented correctly through the music, something that could ultimately be relatable.
Right.
You know, something that people could actually catch on to, you know. So kind of litmus testing it, Blackout and other records such as that are testaments to saying, you know what, human emotion is something that could yield as something relatable to mass amounts of people, provided mass amounts of people do come in contact with my records, you know. So
that's tight. No, that's tight. I was gonna say, I really feel like a lot of people, it's hard to grasp that learning aspect.
Yeah.
You know, when did you come to understand that your loss was a learning thing?
I think it only comes with...
Or what people would consider a loss. Like, what was a loss? Give me an example. And be real. Be real.
Well, yeah. I mean, arguably, I would say that, for instance, the rollout of my EP. So the rollout of Adapt and Shift. I had everything kind of mapped out in a certain way, and just creatively, we hit the mark. The sound came out the way, you know, the sound came out the way that I wanted it to come out. The records were represented well. The cover art, the creative direction was done. Everything was to a T, and everything felt like it was coming together really well. And then on the back end publication side of things, I feel as though I had a very grand idea as to what could be feasible. And I feel like I just shot just below the mark of my own expectations that I had for myself to push that project.
Got it.
I feel as though I could have definitely hit the gas a little bit harder in that, but at the same time, I feel as though that loss or learning experience galvanized what I felt as though the necessary experience to be able to put Blackout where it needed to be. Because I feel as though if I had a somewhat level of success and I did hit the mark and adapt and shift, I don't think I would have had the urgency to make the Blackout video something that could thus be a step ahead of that. I think sometimes we like to pigeonhole ourselves in when we are successful, and as we continuously succeed and succeed and succeed and succeed, we're kind of disillusioned as to what failure looks like. So failure could be sitting right in front of you and you might not even be able to identify it because it's been so long since you've experienced it. So I think being able to catch the W fairly consistently is an amazing thing, but sometimes failure is ultimately what will lead to growth. I'm not saying go out and try to purposefully fail, and waste time, because the other limiting variable is time. But at the same time, I feel as though the occasional loss is what brought me to this point where I'm even in this room to be able to speak on what I'm speaking on. It's because I've learned and I've grown enough and experienced enough in life to be able to objectively look at things and say, okay, I can take from this, I can take from this, I can take from that, and I can make these things into a bigger image so other people can also garner inspiration from my experiences, you know? So.
Yeah, now that you're a living testament to a lot of artists that are trying to do what you're trying to do. But me knowing you, I know that you're doing this solo for the most part.
Right.
I want to bring this in. Like he figured out who to contact for publication. Set up his own Bandcamp. Oh no, you set up your own SoundCloud, Spotify, basically all social media channels and listening channels. And as an artist, I think that's very prevalent that you do. If you're a painter, figuring out all the social media things that you could put your painting on. If you are an architect, same thing. Find out where you could put your content, create your content, and then making sure you line up that content. Am I correct, or is that?
No, it's 100% on the dot. I feel like the DIY aspect of where you have to put yourself as a creative and as somebody who's building a platform of your own, because the only way you're going to find yourself on your own on a higher platform, you have to jump from somewhere. You have to jump from your own galvanized platform, your own set up, self-built platform that is probably your name, and then you're starting from zero. And so in order to figure out how to make such a stable, I look at it like this as an analogy. Can I give you an analogy real quick? So if I were to start off just as Gregnwmn, right? And this is right before I was about to drop Adapt and Shift in summertime of 2016, was I have a very small surface area. There's limited funds, there's limited time, I have access to limited people. And how can I make a stable enough platform to be able to jump off of this and put myself in a platform that's not that much bigger, but much more surface area and will enable me to have much better footing than what that initial step was? Or even maybe it's not from going from that initial platform to another platform, but rather how can I expand upon the Gregnwmn platform that I have built and add a little bit more dimension to it and expand it just a little bit. Maybe going and taking resources from other things and using those resources to be able to expand my platform as much as I can, while also giving back to the people who are helping me grow and helping me build. You know, so I think the DIY aspect, very, very underestimated.
Right.
You have to know you have to have a taste level. You know, what looks good? What are people doing? Okay, I see what they're doing, and what they're doing is fresh, and I am a fan of what they're doing, but is what they're doing what I need to do? That's why I don't think a lot of artists really think of. I think they're like, oh, you know, there's this product, and this product is extremely illustrious, and it's moving units, and this is nice, but instead of going over here and saying I want to be as creative as possible to make something that's that relevant, I'm going to make a diet version of this, because at the end of the day, I know this sells. If I sell something kind of close, it's gonna ultimately be the same.
Right.
And I think that's where a lot of artists, especially today, are pigeonholed, and also a lot of people are looking from the outside in.
You're building longevity.
I'm building longevity with what I'm trying to do by going to a different section of the circle.
But at the same time, staying to the DIY.
Exactly. There's a circle. Everyone's hovering around this orbit. It's about me going to the corner of the circle and saying, this is the new center.
It's like, how can I be cool? I see what's cool. How can I be cool but do it my way?
Yeah,
And
definitely.
at the same time, put it out
Definitely.
as frequent as possible.
If the message isn't strong enough, it won't happen, but that's what I'm working on right now.
Right,
Is that putting enough pressure on myself to be able to produce the proper material that represents me and represents the listener.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's dope. So let me stop this one really quick.